Built over 4,600 years ago, the last of the 7 wonders of the world, the greatest construction mystery of all time. How was the Great Pyramid of Giza built? That mystery is now solved. Experts in architecture and engineering examined the evidence, dug through the archives, and applied their expert knowledge of building arts to discover the true way it was constructed. The theory, the plans, the proof are all meticulously laid out in Floating Stones. By Samuel Sampson and Michael Reed.
Every theory has to answer one difficult question: how to raise 40-ton blocks hundreds of feet above the desert floor.
Other theories have flaws but try to answer this question.
Dragging stones up ramps, even with ropes and rollers, is too labor-intensive and dangerous. Other water-related theories are either incomplete or lack a head of water, or both. Our theory is complete and uses the power of gravity-fed water from the vast aquifers that existed beneath the pyramid.
So we asked ourselves, if the Pharaoh walked into our office and hired us to design and build the job, what would we do?
We analyzed the site and the available resources, and we took a rigorous approach to the challenge.
We researched every aspect of the construction using historical texts and internet tools like Google Earth.
We created a fail-safe construction method based on documented knowledge of design and construction techniques used 4,600 years ago.
We built a scale model and tested the idea to make sure it stood up. This was not conjecture. We did the analysis.
We tested our theory for 10 years to try to disprove it. We couldn't, so we decided to share what we had learned.
The secret is really quite simple. It was right in front of everyone's eyes.
It just took an architect and an engineer to visualize it because we analyzed constructability.
The secret? Water. Before the pyramid was built over it, the ancient wellhead atop the rocky promontory was a gushing artesian well with water flowing down to the River Nile.
To make it took 10 years, as I said, or rather to make the causeway, the works on the mound where the pyramid stands, and the underground chambers which Cheops intended as vaults for his own use. These last were built on a sort of island, surrounded by water introduced from the Nile by canal. Extensive research, empirical data, practical experience, and decades of education created a rigorous model. Stones were quarried, sometimes afar, and floated down the Nile on barges. This everyone agrees on. But how did they get from the Nile to the construction site? And how were they raised to form the elegant design of the Great Pyramid? The answer lies deep within the Great Pyramid. An ancient wellhead sits atop the rocky promontory, used as the pyramid's keystone.
The Great Pyramid was built over this artesian well, which taps into the largest aquifer in the world, the Nubian sandstone aquifer system.
4 enormous aquifers extending from Egypt to Sudan and beyond, fed by highland monsoons, all converge at Giza. Tectonic faults in the rock siliconized and literally funneled vast quantities of water directly northeast to the pyramid site. Even today, the Nubian sandstone aquifer system contains 375,000 cubic kilometers of water.
They built a wall around the pyramid site to retain the water to feed a system of locks down to the River Nile. They floated stones on barges up to the construction site, then built sets of wooden locks at each corner to float stones to higher levels. The monoliths were floated up in a central pond.
It only takes 164 gallons of water per minute, flowing for 20 years, to float all the stones to the pyramid. A 3 to 4 inch pipe could do it, easily done by the ancient Nubian aquifer system, and typical of existing artesian wells.
Imagine being able to see the Great Pyramid under construction 4,600 years ago.
Imagine huge monoliths floating on barges from the River Nile to the construction site.
Imagine all the other stones on barges floating up the causeway.
Imagine wooden locks floating all the other stones up the corners of the pyramid.
Imagine the quiet elegance of this system.
Imagine a 3D animation showing the pyramid construction process step by step. Our book, Floating Stones, contains all the technical details. This video compresses the whole story into just a few minutes. The only way to convincingly illustrate the pyramid construction process is through animation, to demonstrate once and for all this mystery is solved.